Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my brother's wedding because of the dress code? My brother is getting married in a few months, and his future wife recently asked me to be a part of their bridal party. I was thrilled and excited to be included, but then she informed me that the dress code for the bridal party was gender specific, with women expected to wear dresses and men expected to wear suits. As someone who identifies as non-binary and is more masculine presenting, I'm uncomfortable. I don't want to conform to a gender binary that doesn't accurately represent me. I brought this up to my brother and his fiance, but they insisted they wanted all their guests to adhere to the dress code. Am I the asshole for refusing to attend my brother's wedding because of the dress code? As someone who identifies as non-binary and is more masculine presenting, this makes me uncomfortable. I brought this up to my brother and his fiance, but they insisted they want all their guests to adhere to the dress code, regardless of how it made them feel. I ultimately decided that I didn't want to attend the wedding as I didn't feel comfortable being pressured to conform to a gender binary that didn't represent me. My brother and his fiance are now upset with me, accusing me of being difficult and not willing to compromise. They even involved my mom, who said I could put aside my identity for one day to make the day special for my brother. Am I the asshole for banning my sister and her boyfriend from my apartment after they did the nasty in my bed? I, 28 male, had to travel overseas for a couple weeks for week-related reasons. My sister's 19 female college is nearby, and she offered to feed my cats and water my plants while I was gone. I said sure thanks and told her she was welcome to stay there while I was gone since she lives in a dorm. Anyways, when I got home, my sister was there with her boyfriend. That was fine because I had always thought he was a really cool guy, but one thing I noticed was that my sheets were still in my washer. I didn't think much of it at first, but am I the asshole for banning my sister and her boyfriend from my apartment after they did the nasty in my bed? My sheets were still in my washer, but I didn't think anything of it. I assumed my sister waited to wash them since she was using my bed while she was there. But she tells me, sorry, my boyfriend and I were using the bed last night. This grossed me out, and I don't think I'm being unreasonable not wanting people to do the nasty in my bed. My sister told me to relax and said I was being a prude American because her boyfriend is from Ireland. She said that us Americans stigmatize sex and that she washed the sheets so it's fine. I said it's not and told her to get out and she's not welcome here anymore. Mom says I'm overreacting. Am I the asshole for letting my in-laws have some of my special fudge and causing them to spend the weekend? My in-laws always tell stories about when they were young and how they went to Lollapalooza and Burning Man before it all got commercial. I love hearing stories about their good old days and they're so amusing. My favorite is about how father-in-law missed seeing Nirvana in some dive bar because he had never heard of them. I make my own special snacks and they're pretty strong. We don't have kids yet, so I'm okay just leaving them out with a warning note for my wife. The label literally says, don't make any plans for a while. So my in-laws were over this weekend and said they wanted to try my fudge. Am I the asshole for letting my in-laws have some of my special fudge and causing them to spend the weekend? I said they were welcome to try my fudge, but they should try just a quarter of one of my fudge pieces. This is what my wife takes, and it's just enough to have a great time, but also function the next day. But my in-laws decided they were old school, and I was shining them on. They each took a full piece, and that was Friday night. They didn't move from the couch until Saturday afternoon. They had plans that went sideways, and I'm not sure how that's my fault. They literally took 4 times as much as I recommended. My wife is upset with me, and so are my in-laws. Am I wrong?
Am I wrong for refusing to buy my husband an expensive car even though I have the money? My husband, male 35, and I, female 30, have been married for the past 10 years and we have 5 amazing daughters together. Because of that, I dropped out of college and have been a stay-at-home mom for the past 10 years when we had our eldest daughter. My husband is a breadwinner and I take care of all the chores and childcare. While my husband earns quite a bit of money, which allows us to live comfortably, he is also obsessed with budgeting, thus I typically only have enough for household expenses. For the past 5 years, I have been working on a series of books. I've been writing everywhere I could. 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there, and while I sacrifice a lot of sleep, I have managed to finish my series, unbeknown to my husband. I kept it a secret because he always considered it a waste of time. It was tough, but I managed to get an agent and was incredibly lucky to get a deal and have my series published. I was ecstatic. And when they told me how big my advance would be, I almost fainted. It's much more than I expected for a first-time deal. It's in the higher 5 digits. Damn! I didn't get into book writing shit. I haven't told my husband yet, and I had to borrow money from my sister to get an accountant. Ideally, I want that money saved up should something happen because I honestly don't know the details of our home finances or for our kids' future. Whatever will be needed, plus I would love to have some spending money without asking my husband, Greg. However, Greg found my contract and he is now demanding I get him a new car for Christmas. A very expensive new car which would cost majority of my advance. I politely refused, saying that he didn't need a car that expensive and that money was supposed to be saved up. I tried to explain my position, but he wouldn't have it. He basically called me an asshole without actually using the word. He said that because he supported me all these years, I owe him. And without him and his money, I wouldn't be where I am now. Oh my god. Hello, she has been staying home raising your 5 kids. That shit is way, way harder than any job you can do from 9 to 5. Don't even, ew, the fact that he even says that says a lot about his character, and I really don't like that. It makes me, ugh, if he said that, ugh. He's told me that I either buy him a car or I have to start paying for household expenses half and half. Okay, does that mean he's gonna take care of the kids and do all of the household chores and stuff half and half? That's how it works, right? Because now you're bringing in income, you have to cut the parent roles in half too. So he needs to be wiping asses on the kids, taking care of them, dropping off to school and such, right? If that's how it's gonna work, it's not just paying the bills. The thing is, I would still be a stay-at-home mom. I don't know if my book will be a success. For all I know, this will be the only money I will ever get from my book deal because it'll flop. I don't like him. I know you have 5 kids with him, but like I really don't like him. And the fact that he said all of these things to you shows his character, and he is not a man. I don't like it. A real man would be so happy for you and be like, wow, babe, good for you. My hard work. Look at my babe. She's a book writer. Look at her. Like he should be like, you know what? You've worked hard. You did all this and raised 5 kids. He sounds. Am I wrong for telling a friend the real reason why a coworker wants to date him? I, 24 female, have a friend from work, 26 male, Ben. Over the years, coworkers told me that Ben was interested in me, but I brushed it off. When I met Ben, I had a boyfriend who is now my husband. Ben met him and was even invited to our wedding, so the thought of him liking me was ridiculous. I ended up confronting him about it, and he said that he did like me at first, but stopped once he realized I was taken. My husband knows this and is totally fine with it. I never saw Ben as anything more than a friend. 2 months ago, I caught a coworker, Kat, 23 female, crying in the parking lot after work. I asked what was wrong, and she told me that her boyfriend broke up with her and left the country after they found out she was pregnant, and she insisted on keeping the baby. Kate is white with blue eyes and blonde hair, and so is her ex. Most people in my country are tan and have brown eyes with black hair. This info was important later on. After the breakup, Kate went out on dates every day. The guys had one thing in common: blue eyes, blonde hair. I joked that she must have a type, but she told me that she was looking for someone to father her baby, so they had to look similar to her ex so the baby could pass as theirs. This horrified me, but it wasn't my place to tell her anything. A month ago, Ben and I had lunch where he told me he started dating Kat. Ben is the only guy in our office with blonde hair and blue eyes. I told him dating Kat might not be the best idea. After lunch, I went up to Kate and told her what she was doing is wrong and asked her not to do this to my friend. She laughed it off and said it's okay, he won't find out. I stayed quiet for a while, but eventually told Ben he should seriously stop dating Kate. He said he figured I'll try to break them up because I'm jealous. Man, I was disgusted before finally saying to not come crying to me when he realizes Kate is only dating him so another man's baby could have a father. I stopped talking to Ben shortly after, and everything was relatively peaceful in the office. That was until Kate announced she's pregnant. I could see the color drain from Ben's face as he looked in my direction. A huge fight broke out between the two of them after Ben demanded a paternity test while Kate tried to convince him it wasn't necessary. Kate called me later screaming that I ruined her life, so my guess is they broke up. The thing is, they really do deserve each other, so I'm starting to wonder whether I made the right decision by telling Ben the truth. If I hadn't, they probably would have gotten married and the baby would have had a loving father to look after him. Me personally, I would want to know. So I'd be thankful for someone like you if people knew and didn't tell me. If you're my friend, you would tell me so.
Am I the asshole for not adopting my dying best friend's dog and buying a puppy from a breeder instead? My best friend is dying of cancer and could pass away any moment. Today, I was visiting and showed him a picture of the German Shepherd puppy I put a security deposit on and will be ready to take home in 4 weeks. I've always wanted a German Shepherd puppy, so I was so excited and showed him the pictures. I thought maybe the pictures would bring him at least a little moment of joy, even if the moment was fleeting. But instead, things got awkward. After a few minutes of awkwardness, I asked what was wrong. He said that his cousin who was supposed to take his 2-year-old pug named Horace could no longer take him. Am I the asshole for not adopting my dying best friend's dog and buying a puppy from a breeder instead? He said I could save a lot of money by taking his dog. I looked over at Horace and he looked back at me, or he tried to look at me, but he's got one wandering eye that pretty much is always looking towards the ceiling. But I could feel his glare with his good eye. Horace is not a good dog, and this is not me being rude. This is simply me knowing Horace. He poops in the house and tears stuff up, and he's always yapping. Meanie. I'm not a fan of pugs. They look like their faces have been hit with a shovel, and they're always gasping for air with their eyes bulging out. So I said no because I know he's not a good dog, and he got mad.